Aircraft produced during the Second World War as an escort fighter for the American bombers flying from England over to Berlin and back and so on. And the Americans, they took heavy losses over Germany because the escort fighters had to return back to England and refuel when they met about the western part of Germany, because fighters do have very little tanks, fuel tanks, and the bombers could fly on. But then Luftwaffe took off, and they took about 10% of the bombers. That means about 100 bombers every day from the Americans. And the American industry could take that loss. The Americans are good at producing things these days. But the 10 boys in each aircraft, that meant 1,000 boys every day killed when the bombers went down. And then something must be done. Either stop bombing daytime over Germany or have a fighter to escort the bombers. So the Mustang was taken. And the Mustang could carry more fuel and could fly longer, and that because of two innovations. The first thing is the shape of the wing. If you have a look with me, and I don't know how much do you know about aerodynamics. Maybe not so much, but you can see the thickest point is about here. It's very far aft from the front.
Yeah.
Normally a wing is thick about here.
At the front.
At the front.
Yeah.
And then slopes very much down to the trailing edge. But the thickness up here means, and when you have a smooth front surface, you have a wider center of gravity span. You can load the aft part of the aircraft more and still fly, even if it's slightly heavy backwards. So it's more difficult to fly. You can't fly hands off. You can't trim. You cannot trim the aircraft. You must fly it all the time, like a helicopter.
Yes.
I was a helicopter pilot before. And those you can't leave them for themselves. But an aircraft you can trim.
Yeah, and let it go. Yeah.
And then it flies nicely. But not so with a heavy Mustang. But with this wing you can have a filler cap